Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Today's episode of the Layman's podcast is social anxiety. You know the thing that makes you order at the self-serve at Macca's? That thing, yeah. It's a good one, so check it out. Also, our Instagram is down here somewhere. That's where you'll find all our updates. So, enjoy.
So, back at it again.
Yeah.
This would be episode 3 if we were to go chronologically.
Potentially. Let's try and avoid numbers.
Yeah. What's going on in everyone's lives?
I'm sick.
You're sick?
Yep.
You're really bogged down with it, eh?
No.
Just mild symptoms?
I'm pushing through. No, I feel terrible in the chest, etc. But the rest of my body's good. Anyway, enough about me.
What about you, mate?
I'm
you
not
feel.
sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how we're distinguishing between
Yeah.
different people here.
I'm actually just taking a moment to appreciate my not sickness, because you don't ever really do that until you are sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fucking just so keen to start getting back into the gym and shit. But I'm like, I can't. My central nervous system is
Struggling.
screaming.
Ow.
Been mass dosing vitamin C, supplements, etc.
What was that thing you said you had in your coffee yesterday? It was
My
Crystals?
the MCT oil or the grass fed ghee.
Yeah, the grass-fed ghee.
Is that an animal? Ghee?
It
No,
sounds like it.
It's butter, but it's like.
How do you feed butter?
What do you mean? No,
It's
no,
grass
no, the butter is from cows that are grass fed. You fucking numpty.
At least we've established that, though, in case anyone else was
Yeah, all these
confused.
sticks of butter out in the field.
Butter, and then it was grass fed, so
Yeah.
put 2 and 2 together. I forgot to equate the animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just something to light me up, push me through. And it was good. It's fantastic.
So it's good fats, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very good fats.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
So good.
Yeah. So I guess off pod we were having a bit of a discussion about socializing in general and social anxiety and social awkwardness and stuff like that.
Social cues, etc. Yep.
Yeah, and we got to exchanging a few stories about different things that we've experienced. So, I mean, the climax of my social insecurities was being thrown into a bin at high school.
Yep.
That changes you, I feel, as a person.
That's one of the sort of micro tears in your brain or something that's just constant
Vietnam
chronic
flashbacks.
trauma.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that you have to overcome.
Yeah, that took a few years.
Yeah, what do you think about bins these days? You stay away from
He cries every time he sees an ibis.
They're like a quiet place of comfort for me because, after the torture and the bullying, getting thrown into the bin was my solace. So
It's your happy place.
I associate bins now with comfort and escape.
Oh, wow.
That's fucking dark.
That's
Borderline,
fucked.
that's borderline
That's as
fetish.
dark as the bin was when you were trapped inside.
Yeah.
Hey, good one. Yeah, so that's starting from an early age probably instilled a bit of paranoia and it's a nice sound here. Paranoia, suspiciousness about other people.
And just holding your ideas back a bit as well.
But I think those kind of characteristics I already possessed as well, which probably actually led into it's like people can smell the fear on you, I was a bit socially awkward, and I think that's what instigated that whole event, was because I just seemed like someone who couldn't hold a conversation, was very stuttery and unsure of himself, and it just broods this guy's a target, let's get him.
Yeah, it's like I was saying before, high school and primary school is like prison sometimes in a sense.
Yeah.
People have said that for a long time before already, but
Yeah.
it is. There's a lot of similarities.
And not in the sense of that you're trapped in a prison-like location, more in the fact that you sort of compared it to the way to get through it is to either be the alpha dog,
Yeah.
or you can keep your mouth shut, make sure everyone's happy.
Like I did, yep.
Not
Came
express your
stay on the
ideas.
radar, yep. Don't get bullied. Didn't experience that. Still had social anxiety, which is probably why I stayed under the radar, because I was terrified of saying anything.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then how does that translate now into being a young 23-year-old?
I still get it probably just as bad as I've always got it. I've just learned how to act like to show that I'm not feeling the way that I am.
That's how the social tricks and the cues come into play.
Yeah.
You got to be analytic about it.
So
sure.
I just got really good at acting and just trying to like sort of look at other people and go, how do they react to certain situations?
What's an example of that then at a party where you're like, I don't like you're not into the people around you or something, and then you have certain things you do or what?
I think
icebreakers.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
I think I just try and embarrass myself. To be honest,
You put yourself out there initially already, so like you can't make fun of me because I already just did.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, because it's just like a baptism by fire. Like as if you go out and embarrass yourself on your own terms, then anything that could possibly come after that could never be as bad as you just being a complete fucking idiot. Like, so that's why I'll just say stupid things at the start. Like someone comes over like, "How you going?" Like, and they just have like a giggle, and it's just like just little things. And then anything that could be unique or interesting.
Yeah.
So instead of just being like, "Oh, how are you?" Like trying to be a bit different.
I think that's why we get along as well, and I think all of us, because we immediately go into the weirder thing to say.
Yeah, we kind of just like, we don't want to be like the normal kind of thing. We just
How's
like,
the farm, Will?
Yeah, that's it.
That's a classic one.
Yeah.
No one will understand what that is.
yeah, I laugh, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's actually another thing that I do to try and like get onto an even playing field with people socially is I'll laugh whenever if I pick up in their tone of voice. This sounds pretty aspy, but if I pick up on their tone of voice that they're trying to say something that would warrant laughter, I'll fulfill that for them because it gives them that positive recognition. Like, oh, this guy is going to laugh at my jokes, so I respect him or I like him.
Yeah.
So I'll laugh at things. And sometimes I get caught out laughing at things that weren't even funny. Or people will ask me questions.
Funny story, Mark.
Yeah.
You see that? Anyway.
Yeah, people ask me questions and
The room. Yeah.
and I won't hear them, but I'll just be like, yeah. Just for like the social
That's very odd
just to
when
fill
it
the-
doesn't work out.
Just to fill the blank
continuity.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing you learn quickly with social interactions is you don't want it to be as stuttery and stop-start as it can be. You want it to be as smooth as possible. So you learn just if you didn't hear someone, you feel a bit weird about asking them to repeat themselves because the conversation's
eighth
moving
time.
quickly. Yeah. If you have to ask them too many times, you're just like, fuck it. Like, yes, whatever the question you ask me, yes,
I agree.
I will.
Yeah. Whenever that's happened to me lately, like there's a gap in the conversation or whatever. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but I'll just start talking about myself.
Yeah.
Like something I did that day, something weird or...
It's like, it's what you know. Like if you're talking
like,
to someone.
oh, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
I either walk away or...
I didn't really know
go,
about.
You're cool.
I didn't really need to know about what your dog ate today, but okay.
Yeah.
No, that's probably like, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing because it's like you're just saying what you know. Like if you're talking to someone that you're just meeting for the first time, maybe like a party or whatever, and the conversation comes to a halt, you might just bring up something that you did on that day, and that'll just like keep the conversation going or whatever. But I wouldn't see it as a bad thing.
Yeah. Do you guys have any sort of, again, continuing on the, not necessarily tips and tricks because, again, we're not masters of...
We're just
social-
laymans.
That word is familiar. Anything for social cues? You know, where...
What do you mean by cue exactly?
Social cues, like you pick up on a certain person's behavior or something and you're like...
And act accordingly.
Yes, exactly. You're like, oh, I should tread lightly with this kind of topic, or I should go hard with this sort of thing.
I sort of like, you know, how...
Does it help?
You know how you sort of mirror how that person's acting towards you?
Yeah.
I kind of do that, I feel. Like if someone is like straight off the bat, just like super talkative and like just start saying some pretty crazy things. Like, I'm not saying I'll try and top it, but like I'll try and go down that same path and just like keep up with whatever they're saying. Sometimes it's a bit overwhelming. Like if you're talking to someone that you're like, well, this is a bit too much, and I can't tell if you're sort of being genuine with me here or you're just taking the piss.
Yeah. Well, that's probably smart because there's probably genuine psychology behind that, going down to their level.
Yeah. Well, I find
or up to their level.
Yeah. I find that a lot of people straight off the bat will, I suppose, try and impress you, but like not in like a humble way, like a really like, look at me like I'm a fucking wicked guy or girl, whatever.
Yeah, some people got some real alpha stories to tell.
Yeah, and it's like, this doesn't seem like appropriate for like someone that you're literally just meeting. I don't know, like you kind of tell that stuff to someone that you're comfortable with, but like if you're coming straight off the bat talking about like, I don't know, whatever it is to impress someone else.
Yeah, some fight you had with someone.
Yeah, it's something like that where it's like it's super alpha and it's like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. Like you're just trying to let me know what your authority is, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't respond well to that.
Yeah,
it's I not that like I'm not that I'm a master or anything like that, and far from it. But I feel like they're just like cheap ways of trying to throw your ego out there.
It's pretty transparent.
Yeah.
And it's real easy to pick up on. It's not like a subtle thing.
Yeah. So PSA: don't get rid of your ego, but be self-aware.
Yeah.
Be aware of it.
I try when I meet people, if I can determine that they're self-aware and that they've got their ego in check and stuff like that, that's immediately something that just from me knowing that about them or having identified that about them, I'll become a lot more comfortable with them.
Ego is important
Yeah.
to stave off social anxiety because then you have a good idea of yourself,
Yeah.
who you are. So yeah. What do you think about transitioning to internet usage and social anxiety? Do you have any more to say about just general social anxiety? I imagine you probably have a lot more to say about that.
Oh, probably, but
Yeah.
if it comes up, I'll get into it. But in terms of the internet, talking about like whether people go and find comfort there
Yeah.
from social like situations that are threatening or
Yeah. Like, is it one way or the other? Is it social anxiety leads to more time spent online and on online communities, or is it the other way around, or both?
I want to say my immediate thoughts would be that interacting with people online would carry over social anxious tendencies in real interactions because you're not taking into consideration like looking people in the eyes, reading body language, all the things that come with like a face-to-face conversation.
Yeah.
So I think that you develop a fake personality online where you're comfortable saying things and doing things and not just saying things that aren't a representation of who you actually are. Yeah. Or maybe they are more of a representation of who you are.
And then you can find people online like who are similar to you that you probably wouldn't have been able to do in real life at that point in your life. Like a lot of people play video games. I say that like an old man or something.
These damn computer games.
Tetris, etc.
Snake.
And they establish communities within that game and then they start talking to them on Discord or whatever app, and then they eventually might meet up in real life, and then there you go. That's their path to fulfilling social life.
Yeah.
So you're saying that's a positive thing?
It definitely can be. It definitely can go the other way. Like a lot of people could spend a lot of time on Twitter or something, constantly raving about whatever political enemy they have, or like fighting people in their mentions constantly. And that can have a negative effect. You can start becoming more insular and suspicious. And that's definitely going to have a negative effect on your real life social.
I feel like, especially with Twitter, not that I use it, but like you always hear of celebrities and those kind of people talking about like all the hate that they get, and it's just from like regular people sort of thing. And it's like, it seems like it's just built like such a hostile environment like where people just think it's completely okay to just like completely shit on someone.
Yeah.
Like for like the most minor thing. Like I can't remember who it was, but some celebrity was talking about it and they were like talking about some person that was like constantly just commenting on their page and on their videos or whatever they posted. And they noticed it and they were just like, oh, like you think I don't like read this stuff? Like there's some fucking like vulgar shit coming out of these people's mouth. Like just real hectic stuff like that you would never say to someone like to their face, especially someone you don't know.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, like you think I don't read this? Like this is my Twitter page. Like I read my comments and you're saying all this like brutal stuff like to someone that you have no idea like what they're actually like. And it's like, why is this acceptable?
Yeah. I know someone who took a screenshot of one of their friends like having a go at like a footy player, like a pretty high profile one on their Twitter, like rip it into them about like not getting into a grand final or something. And they were kind of bragging on behalf of the friend, like, oh, look at this great banter. Because they replied, the footy player replied.
Yeah.
And it was just like such unnecessary vitriol. Just like, would you say that to this fucking
like 6'3"
elite athlete in real life?
Yeah, you just get like the shit beaten out of you.
Yeah. And then would you brag about that?
Yeah.
Just a real disconnect that can lead to negative effects.
Yeah. Like if that's how you start treating people in real life, like it's going to be a downward spiral from there. Like if you start carrying on this like accepted behavior of commenting and messaging celebrities or whoever in such a negative way, and then you carry that on to your day-to-day life and you start shitting on people like to their face, like it's going to end in tears pretty quick.
Yeah. I reckon these people though that do that frequently, like they're just like the saddest, most just introverted people that go out and live these different lives and then they get home to their computer and they just like whatever stress or anything they bring home with them or whatever baggage they're carrying psychologically, that's just an outlet for them and they're not dealing with it in the right way. And other people have to suffer as well. You know, when you see comments of people like saying like kill yourself on a YouTube video where someone might fucking, you know, think that butter gets grass fed. Like,
yeah, who would think that?
It's ruthless stuff.
Yeah. I think one of you guys was saying just before about how like when you're online versus in person, like you're creating this image of yourself that isn't very true.
Yeah, like pretty much everyone's Instagram account.
Yeah. Like the fact that when you're talking to someone in person, like you don't have hours to think about what you want to say next. Like say someone messages you, you can choose to ignore that for hours or a day if you want.
Yeah.
And then you can reply. And it's like you've had all that time to think of the exact words you want to use to respond to whatever the question or whatever the conversation was about. But if you're having an interaction with someone like face to face, you don't have time to think about the exact phrase you want to reply to them with, which is like...
But also in real life, you can pick up facial cues unless you've got a problem with that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you can read their body language. You can empathize with them way better if you're in front of them.
Yeah, I'm saying that if you're in person, then you're going to give a more accurate answer to how you actually feel because it's like real time.
So you can construct more of a...
Yeah, you're giving a response.
You can construct.
You're giving a response when you're talking to someone in person. When you're replying to something online, you're giving them like a thought out.
Yeah. And in real life, your heart frequencies can touch theirs.
That's for another day.
Yeah, that's episode 69.
I wonder how that affects the person who's receiving some kind of negative comment in real life as opposed to online. Like if someone came up to you and said something to you that was rude in real life, that was really vulgar or destructive, then maybe in what you're saying that they're going to give a more honest reaction then. Maybe there's something psychological there as well about them working through the emotions of that experience, that particular interaction. Whereas if you were to experience the same thing online, you're not giving an honest response like in the heat of the moment. So maybe you're not getting all the emotional energy out. No, that sounds kind of airy-fairy, but maybe you're not like expressing the correct emotions at the time. So you just take it away and brood on it for days. Whereas in person, it's more real and, oh, what the fuck did you say? And, or whatever.
Yeah. You're giving them a reaction in person, whereas like, and that might be a way of dealing with the scenario. Whereas you can't really have that because you're just sitting behind your screen and they can't see how you're reacting to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over time, you realize everyone has the same anxieties as you. They're probably thinking pretty similar to you. So in the end, you realize it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Just do whatever. Very basic way to put it, but
no, yeah. That's like that was something. That's something I think most people realize as they get a bit older. As you sort of go past 17, 18, and you get into your early 20s, is you meet enough people, and by that point you've seen people express their own anxieties, and you just start to go, well, fuck yeah, like everyone's experiencing this.
Exposure therapy, essentially, which I think is a good thing for overcoming anxiety, and which is hard to do if you spend a lot of time online. But there's gateways.
I think one of the main things, if you suffer from like a bit of social awkwardness or whatever you want to call it, like actually putting yourself in scenarios where you do feel that awkwardness or that social anxiety is beneficial, because you learn how to deal with it, and like you become more comfortable with meeting new people or hanging out in social situations. Like if you just embrace your social awkwardness and don't actually do anything about it, like you just accept, oh, that's just who I am, like you're not going to improve. So if you actually like put yourself into positions where you're like forced to interact with someone or multiple people, then you're actually going to like benefit from it, because you're going to eventually feel more comfortable and make friends and whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think about the place of booze in all of this as a tool, and how far can it be taken? Because you know what I mean? Because it's a fucking powerful social lubricant.
It's definitely an interesting point.
Like at 18, it was like the only reason I could go to a party.
Yeah.
Because you could drink.
I think, I think how it worked out for me was it was great from 18 to like 21, 22.
Yeah.
Whenever there was the occasion for it, it was really good. I made some great friendships. It's been a big part of my social life throughout those years. But for me, it was like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Like once I started to go, oh, okay, I want to slow down on the drinking, and I'm getting a bit older, 23, but wanting to be more conscious about my health and stuff. I still had that like little devil on my shoulder was still there waiting for me, you know. So going to a party sober is probably just as terrifying now as it was when I was 17, 18. Like maybe it did a little bit but what I'm saying is that the confidence that I developed when being drunk at a party and socializing didn't really transfer over to sober. So it's almost like starting again.
Because you didn't really learn lessons.
Yeah.
You just wake up the next day feeling terrible. And there's now diminishing returns now that you're older.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I don't remember what I was going to say.
Probably too hungover.
Too much drink. No, I haven't been drinking that much. I was going to say what you're saying, terrifying to be sober at a party.
Yeah.
These days it's probably more boring than anything.
Yeah.
Just like what? Yeah, just on a different level to everyone else.
Yeah.
It's not as fun. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I think as you get older, you sort of use drinking as more of a means or a way of just catching up with your mates. It's not so much about defeating the social awkwardness. It's more like, oh yeah, we haven't caught up in a while. You want to grab a drink? And that's just the normal thing, I guess.
Social ritual, yes.
You just have a couple drinks, and that may sort of loosen you up a little bit, and you might open up a little bit more. But at the same time, it's not like, it's what you said. It's a social ritual, like same as grabbing a coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grabbing a coffee. On a side note, I can't think of like people do coffee dates.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything worse. Like getting yourself lit up and being super like anxious and shit. Just like
And just sitting
meeting
still.
someone for the first time. Just be like, wait, have you heard about CrossFit Geek? This shit doesn't have any of that shit. Have you heard of microRNA?
I feel like
It's not encoding DNA. It makes up not.
I feel like I'm immune to coffee's effects because everyone talks about it like they're bouncing off the walls, and it never has had that effect on me. And like people use it to wake themselves up in the morning. Like for me, it's just like a warm drink. It doesn't.
Yeah, it can affect people differently.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And people
I don't
saying
remember what exactly physically is happening, but yeah, it can affect.
And people saying like, oh, I can't drink a coffee after whatever o'clock. I'll be up all night. That has never ever affected me. Like I could have a coffee at 10 p.m. and go to sleep at like 10:30. No worries.
I'm the opposite. It fuck hits me. It stims me the fuck out. It used to be too much. Like on the come down, I'd become like emotionally distraught.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty crazy situation, not relating to coffee, but
I don't want to hear it then.
I'll tell you off pod.
No,
because
I want to hear it right now.
why would you even mention it then?
No, I'll leave it for the Patreon.
That's it. Yeah, I want to create that kind of.
No, well, it's about coffee.
No, it's not about coffee.
Oh,
but
what's the vague
it's similar to how you were saying you
Doesn't affect.
You could have a coffee before bed and go to sleep. Like
I
sound.
feel like I know what you're talking about, but
It's something.
it's definitely an
came into my
off-pod
mind.
topic.
Yeah.
Jeez, really?
I don't want to put it out there in case
a bit
anyone
inappropriate.
watching.
It's a bit inappropriate, isn't
Not
it?
yet, anyway.
Write it down or something and pass it to me.
I'll just type it.
Okay.
Yeah, you type it and show them.
You guys just
I
keep-
want to see if we're on the same page.
You guys just keep talking and I'll,
Yeah, okay.
I think looking into coffee and the way it affects people differently is definitely something we could look into in the future for a podcast. So
you got it?
I have no idea what's going on here, but it could be.
I could.
Don't do that with a toilet brush.
Oh, yeah, you nailed it.
That was clever.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not that into that anymore. Just in general.
Oh, really?
On
Diminishing
that note,
returns. I think there's something wrong with me. That's another
I still don't know if you're on the right page with that.
I reckon I am. I think we're fairly telepathic
Fuck.
in some ways.
Stop being so vague. I mean, just let it go. We'll talk about
That's
it
all
off
right.
pod.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like doing things like this, like sitting down and just talking for whatever, half an hour, probably an hour by the time we actually start recording things. Like that's a good way of just becoming more vocal and being comfortable talking to people face to face. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably a good note to finish on there.
I have no anxiety about this because I'm so gung ho about being fucking famous. So